'Twas the year 2020, and all through the world, a feeling of tension and anxiousness swirled. For a holiday season unlike any we've seen, all thanks to that unwelcome COVID-19. The last-minute shoppers completed their tasks, while carolers sang muffled, snug in their masks. And the two of us struggled, my father and me, through the wet, snowy streets with our new Christmas tree. We put up the tree and hung baubles with care, but that old Yuletide magic, it just wasn't there. Though that would all change at our big Christmas party, a big blowout bash for which no one was tardy. Once the invites were out telling guests to attend, we'd enjoy festive feelings with all of our friends. But my parents asked gently to lend them my ear, to tell me that Christmas is different this year. No ice skating, parties, or shopping mall Santas, no cousins, aunts, uncles, no grandmas or grandpas. No nothing or no one? I cried in despair. I'd been an angel all year. It just wasn't fair. My parents consoled me, but they were cut short by a news bulletin on the evening report. New figures were in, and they were quite surprising. Cases weren't down, they were actually rising. And all the new models very strongly implied that the virus spreads fastest from those gathered inside. It was in that moment that I understood that we had to make choices for the common good. I then had a thought that was really quite frightening, a realization that struck me like lightning. If someone was going to every house, no creature would be safe, not even a mouse. A new super spreader who would move germs quite quick was none other than globe-trotting jolly old Saint Nick. He'd step into one house, get germs on his foot, and track it next door on some old chimney soot. He'd get spitty droplets on milk cups with ease and leave ticking time bombs right under our trees. While happily whistling a nice Christmas ditty, he'd be spreading the virus to each town and city. That well-meaning man of considerable girth would spread cheer and COVID all over the earth. Then to the North Pole where he'd infect the elves, who would never come back to sit on our shelves. I had to move quick, lest the virus gain traction. I set down my cocoa and sprang into action. I shouted, grab soap and some rags if you got 'em. We'll scrub down this room from the top to the bottom. The room freshly smelling of clean soapy vapor, I got down to business with spare wrapping paper. I wrapped all our stuff up, even my cat Hector, so nothing was left to be a disease vector. Mom and Dad asked me if this was all a bit much, but I still hadn't deployed my finishing touch, a plan so ingenious he'd be none the wiser. I'd swapped Santa's cookies with hand sanitizer. My parents looked worried and whisked me to bed, but visions of mayhem danced round in my head. I laid wide awake, I could not sleep a wink, hearing every creak, groan, and each drip from the sink. When up on the roof there arose such a tromping, I knew right away whose black boots were stomping. As I threw on my housecoat, I made for the stairs. Down the chimney came Santa to settle affairs. When I peered in the room, a sight filled me with glee. It was old Father Christmas, in full PPE. He wore red coveralls from his head to his boot, with a label that read, Ho Ho Hazmat Suit. His protective equipment was merry and bright, and his face shield reflected the dancing tree lights. I swear to you now that I'm not dramatizing. This getup was high-tech and self-sanitizing. Santa came ready to keep out the cooties. He fully geared up from his hood to his booties. He reached in his bag with his thick nitrile glove, then pulled out some presents and placed them with love. I became more assured after watching a bit that this was all above board and completely legit. I made not a sound and observed with a smirk while Santa efficiently finished his work. And then in a fit of socially distant fun, he looked straight my way and flashed finger guns. He chuckled and then without touching his face, vanished with a flash into my fireplace. I took off with a sprint, pushing really quite hard. I burst through the doorway and into the yard to see dark silhouettes that to me looked like art of Claus and his reindeer, spaced 6 feet apart. The reindeer stomped hooves and then took off in flight, and swiftly they disappeared into the night. But Santa called out from his cross-country ride, Happy Christmas to all, and please stay inside. Though this Christmas is different, I think we will see. We can still have a great time with our families. On phones and on tablets, we'll still stay connected. And we'll make sure our elders are safe and protected. We'll still have our presents and our big Christmas dinner. We'll play Christmas games and we'll all be the winner. We'll all do our best, and then next year we'll say, what a fun time we had that one weird Christmas day.